What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fast Money Football. I'm your host, Albert Vartanian, and we got Champions League today. It's back. It's the quarterfinals, and joining me, as always, is Sara Poraria. Sara, we got to start the show off with some good news for Canadian supporters. Alphonso Davies looks like he has a chance at being in the starting 11 for Bayern Munich on Wednesday in the Champions League when they face Villarreal. Manager Julian Nagelsmann, he's come out and say he's ready to go. I'm considering him to be in the 11 starting on Wednesday. This is huge news, not only for Alphonso Davies himself. He's obviously getting better. He's been out, I think, since January with a mild case of myocarditis. But this is also a huge boost for Canada because heading into the World Cup, yes, it's in November, but John Herdman is going to want his players, especially Alphonso Davies, playing week in and week out at the highest level.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful news for Canadian fans, for Bayern fans, for football fans. We're excited to see him, and we're excited to have him back. And I'm pretty sure this morning he just won the CONCACAF Player of the Year.
He did.
So, it's a good day for Fonzie. He's feeling good, and I think I'm excited to see him play. Even of course, for Canada, but even just for Bayern too. I think he's so exciting to watch, and it's good timing for them too. Like you said, they have a big match tomorrow in the UCL, so I think it could be very exciting.
Yes, he was named the CONCACAF Men's Player of the Year. 5 goals, 8 assists, and just 7 World Cup qualifying matches. And, as I mentioned, he needs to be playing at the highest level every single week. He's Canada's biggest X factor. Yes, they did a really good – Canada did a really good job without him to qualify for the World Cup, and they deserve all the praise for that. But heading into that competition, that's the elite of the elite, and you need elite players to be at their best. I know this is kind of a stupid question. I get it. But how important is he to Canada in the World Cup?
I think he's extremely important. And I think it's because it's not to say Canada doesn't have talent on their team, because we know they do. But Fonzie has had some experience playing in one of the top 5 leagues, which is extremely important. Yeah, there's, Jonathan David at Lille, the boys at Besiktas, but Bayern Munich's definitely much more competitive than those teams. And he knows how to play a little bit more tournament style football with, competitions like the UCL. And so I think he'll bring more experience. He's also played with a lot of the guys that Canada could go up against. Mm-hmm. He plays in Germany. If Canada miraculously gets out of the group, they could face Germany. You want to have a player that knows a little bit about these players in these tournaments. So I think it's not just the talent that he brings to Team Canada, it's his experience and everything he's learned overseas.
Yeah, and the best players in the world, they get a lot of attention on the pitch, and that just gives Belgium, Croatia, Morocco another player to worry about for the most important player who he's going to be for Canada. So very important, very good that he's going to be back on the pitch. I hope he starts. I don't think if he doesn't start, he's probably going to be on the bench, and we might see a cameo. So it'd be good to see him back playing football once again. Let's transition to the Premier League. There was a twist, Sarah, in the Premier League top 4 race. Crystal Palace beating Arsenal 3-0 at home at Selhurst Park. They were fantastic in the first half. Arsenal did have their chances in the last 45, but Crystal Palace, they did the job. And now, looking at the odds, Arsenal minus 110. They were the clear favorites heading into that matchup. But look at Tottenham right behind them, minus 110 as well. You have Manchester United plus 800. Right now, Spurs are in 4th on goal differential. They're level on points with 54. Then you have United and West Ham just behind them. The North Londo Derby, Sarah, scheduled for Thursday, May 12th. And that ends up being now one of the most important matches for both of these teams.
Yeah, it's really funny with the Premier League because it's kind of turning out to all the head-to-head games are going to be, it seems like, the crucial kind of deciding factors with, of course, Manchester City and Liverpool, and now we're talking about Arsenal and Tottenham, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic for fans. It's so great to see. We spoke about this, I think, right before we went to Costa Rica about 3 weeks ago when we were talking about who's going to finish in the top 4. And looking at it now, it's neither of us said Tottenham. I think I had Arsenal. I think I had it at Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. But I'm not sure about Chelsea anymore. I'm feeling a little like they're falling off. And like you said, United and West Ham are, only a few points behind there too. It is on and it is exciting.
Yeah, Chelsea, 59 points, 5 points up on Arsenal and Tottenham. They need to be looking over their shoulder. Big blip, actually, that loss to Brentford. But I think they'll be okay. But, massive matchups coming up for them, obviously, in the Champions League against Real Madrid next week. Looking at the fixtures for Arsenal and Tottenham, because when you're looking at this top 4 race, when you're looking at the title race between Manchester City and Liverpool, one of the best ways, I think one of the only ways really, is to analyze the run in the next few fixtures coming up. But I think you need to go game by game. For Arsenal, they have a very favorable matchup at home against Brighton, who are struggling to score at the moment. Spurs, a little bit more difficult. Aston Villa away. After this weekend, I know this is an early prediction, but do you see both these teams picking up 3 points or one or the other?
Between Tottenham and Arsenal?
Yeah, and their matches this weekend. So Arsenal has Brighton and Spurs have Villa away.
No, both these. I honestly, if I was betting on these games, I don't know if I'd pick a winner out of these. These are tough games. Aston Villa has been, since Stevie G's gone over there, they've been a tough team, and Brighton's also been solid all season. They're a solid mid-table team, and so I don't know. I don't know if either both these teams could walk away with no points.
Yeah, exactly. We can be right where we are. And then who knows with Manchester United and West Ham. And speaking of those teams, West Ham plus 3,300. They have a big Europa League matchup coming up against Lyon. I think all eggs are in that basket, but they're still in the race. If teams above them start dropping points and they're able to collect points here and there in the Premier League, you just never know. 2 ways to get into the Champions League for West Ham, either the Europa League or from the top 4 in the Premier League. Let's transition once again. Premier League title contenders, Sarah, both in action today. It's Manchester United and Liverpool. And quick look at those odds. Manchester City plus 187. They're favored at the moment. They're a point up on Liverpool. Liverpool plus 200 to win the Premier League. Who are you taking?
I think I'm still going to stick with City. They have such a tough couple games coming up, though, and I think that's going to be really crucial for them. It's going to be interesting to see who Pep is going to play. They have Atleti today. They have Liverpool on the weekend. They have Atleti again next week. They have Liverpool the following weekend. Then they play Brighton. Like it's going to be really tough. But something inside of me is saying like they want this, and I don't know. I just have them just a slight edge above Liverpool.
Yeah, having the game at home is huge, and the last time these two teams, were battling really tightly for the top spot in the Premier League was point. City had a point above on Liverpool, and they both had 8 games remaining. They both won out, but because they didn't play each other, City went on to win. If that happens this time around, City will win the Premier League. Now in the Champions League, as we mentioned, they both play today. Looking at the outrights for the Champions League, City, Liverpool, the 2 favorites. Then you have Bayern Munich at plus 300, Chelsea plus 1,200, Real Madrid 14-1, Atleti, who have Manchester City today, 25-1, Villarreal 8,000, and the biggest dog is Benfica at plus 20,000. With Man City and Liverpool having so much to play for in the Premier League, I can't really back them to win this Champions League because of what's going on. If there's, if there ends up being some sort of slip up from either side in the Premier League, and we see one team kind of pull away, I'm going to lean towards, I think, maybe the other to take the Champions League because now that's the priority, right? But I think there's some good value in looking at Chelsea or Real Madrid at plus 1,400 to win the Champions League, Sarah.
I don't know how Chelsea has better odds than Real to win the Champions League. That's ridiculous to me.
Well, they are the reigning champions.
Which also was ridiculous. Like Chelsea winning the UCL was the most bizarre thing last year. I think it was like, I didn't like it at all. I didn't think it was deserved. It was such a weird.
You didn't think it was deserved?
No. I did not. Like I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. But hey, this is tournament football. But Real is, they're I think 10 points ahead of Barca right now, who's in second place. They are feeling like pretty, solid, and they're probably going to win La Liga this year. So they're comfortable in their league, as well as they perform in the UCL better than any other team ever. This is their tournament. So I think if anything, they probably are sitting the most comfortably because, they're kind of taking care of business in the league. And this is what they love to do. They love this tournament. So I'm surprised about that. I think you're right, though, about Liverpool and City, where it's kind of going to fall. I mean, I don't know that one team could win both, but I do kind of see like a bit of, okay, if one team gets knocked out, then they're going to take the Premier League and vice versa.
Yeah. And, quick look at the bracket, just so people know. If Liverpool do go through to the next round by beating Benfica, they would probably face Bayern Munich, who is meeting with Villarreal. I mean, Villarreal could win, but most likely it's going to be Liverpool-Bayern. That's a tough route to the final. And on the other side, City, if they get past Atletico Madrid, also very difficult, would have to face either Chelsea or Real Madrid. So there's no easy path on either side. So I think you really need to prioritize the Champions League, especially this year. And I just don't see it from Manchester City or Liverpool at the moment. I could be completely wrong. Who knows? Anything can happen. Both those teams could be knocked out, by the time we talk about the next round. So that's one thing we need to consider. Let's start. Benfica at home. They're surprise. The biggest dogs right now to win it all. Plus 650, taking on Liverpool minus 250. Benfica, just a reminder, eliminated Ajax 3-2 on aggregate. And we look a little stupid because we really thought Ajax should have taken care of Benfica pretty easily. And they looked pretty good in the first leg. But Benfica, they played some of their best football, and now they're through. This is going to be a really difficult test. But with all that we said about Liverpool and everything that's going on in the Premier League, they could make it difficult here, Sarah, I think, for Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have to remember they're playing this first game at home in Anfield, which is, we always talk about Anfield is that scary place with that, like you always say, that 12th man kind of persona, like the fans are
important.
wild there, and it is important. And I think the first leg is going to be very telling for these matches, because I think, if the idea for City and for Liverpool, I think, is to come out really strong and try their best to get as big of a deficit on the other team, because they have so much ahead of them. So, and also Benfica just lost to Braga over the weekend, 3-2. They're coming off of a loss. Liverpool, have 4 clean sheets in their last 4 games. Like, they're on fire. They've lost 1 game in 2022, which was that Inter game, which we spoke about, that didn't even really matter. So even though we've been giving Benfica the business and they've been giving it back to us, I am still having trouble backing them against Liverpool. I think Liverpool's going to win today.
Yeah, it's difficult to doubt these underdogs, considering there's, they really have nothing to lose. As stupid as that sounds, it's such a cliche, but they really don't. All the pressure is on Liverpool to go through. And like you said, they're not in the title race in the Portuguese league. They're most likely going to qualify for the Champions League qualifier spot, which is the 3rd spot in the Portuguese league. So they're safe there on that end. So they don't have that type of distraction. They can just focus on this. And they also have a pretty good goal scorer, Uruguayan national Darwin Nunez, 8 goals in 10 games. And he can really cause trouble for this Liverpool team. But Benfica needs to create chances for them. And it's going to be difficult when Liverpool have, 60%, 60+% of the possession.
Not to mention that Trent Alexander-Arnold is meant to be back today.
Right, huge.
Full, back line that they're used to. And I heard they have a pretty good goalie back there. So, I mean, yeah, Nunez is going to try and put on a show, because I think he's also trying to leave Benfica. So every time you play a big team, you want to try and do the most to, get to a new team. But Liverpool is going to be a very hard wall to break back there.
Yeah, West Ham, Manchester United, and Barcelona all interested in Darwin Nunez. So this can be a bit of a showcase for some teams who are looking to buy him. From a betting perspective, where's the value here?
I don't know. You could go for goals, but I honestly think I would back Liverpool. Like, I have.
Oh, you'd laid the 250.
Yeah, I have Liverpool to win under 2.5 goals. I think. I don't know. I can't. I was trying to look at it this morning and be like, hey, don't go for the winner. Don't go for the winner. And I was like, Liverpool should win this game. Like, they should. So I couldn't not choose them. Yeah. Why? What do you have going on over there?
I'm not sure if I'm going to touch this one, to be completely honest with you. I do think Liverpool will win. It's difficult when you get to these stages. I mean, in knockout football, anything can really happen. Games are going to be a lot tighter. But that said, Liverpool, deep team. I mean, they can score goals. That's one thing they do very well, and they can keep clean sheets as well. Liverpool plus under 3.5, not your 2.5, but under 3.5, plus 130. Pretty good value if you want to back Liverpool and a low goal total. I don't see this really getting out of hand, but again, you never know. That's why I want to stay from it. If you really want to back Liverpool as well, you can get them at minus 1.5 to win by 2 goals at close to plus 150. And the other side, if you want to back Benfica, I think the best way to do it is maybe draw no bet. You get some really good odds, plus 425. My thinking here with Benfica and how they're going to approach this game is they don't want to go into Anfield down a goal. So there's 2 ways I think they might approach it. One being very pragmatic, very defensive, and try and hold off Liverpool and maybe head to Anfield with a 0-0. Or hopefully get the first goal, get a goal early, and see what happens from there. I think it's a very difficult match to predict. But yeah, all signs are pointing towards a Liverpool win here.
Yeah. I think this is going to be, unfortunately, routine.
Okay, Manchester City minus 290 at home against Atletico Madrid plus 800. Let's talk about Atleti first. They eliminated Manchester United, so now they have a chance to eliminate the blue side of Manchester. 2-1 on aggregate. They won 4-1 at the weekend over Alaves. 6 wins in a row. they turned their season around. What's changed?
I think it's all Diego Simeone. Like, I don't know what this guy, he has this capability to bring out the best in this team, even when they're down. I'm really loving that Joao Felix is also performing as well, because there was a bit of a slump for him at the end of, November. I think it was around
I
November.
feel like, Sarah, I feel like there was a slump since he was transferred there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
A lot of pressure on a young kid.
excuse me. Yeah, no, I think there was a lot of pressure, but I also think like he wasn't playing consistently. Portugal's not really playing him. I think there's like a
No.
little bit going on there with that. He's with players, when you want them to succeed and strive, you have to play them, and they have to kind of get into the gist of constantly playing, and then they really perform. I don't know what's going on, but I'm so happy to see him doing well. I'm so happy to see Suarez doing well at his age with everything. He's fantastic for this team. And also like that, in the back there, like Henan Lodi and like this team is just, I don't know. I love the spirit behind Atletico, and they just have so much fight and aggression to them and passion. Yeah, I think Diego Simeone brings out like this fight in these players, and it's really like it's an amazing skill that he has as a coach.
Yeah, a few months ago they lost, looks like 1-0 to Levante, and they were at home. And from then, said they rattled off 7 wins and a draw. They haven't lost since then. So something must have changed. Whatever, it was a conversation between Simeone and the players, or they just realized something. But they're a really good team. And we saw in the second leg of Manchester United, we saw that old Atletico Madrid. We saw the Simeone come out in the players. And I think we're going to see that against Manchester City. I really think their approach is going to be clog the middle and push the ball out wide, because if City have the ball out wide, they're not a crossing team. They don't have a number 9 that they're going to try and get the ball to crossing in, give that number 9 some service to get ahead on. So I think Atleti really going to frustrate Manchester City here. Once again, all the pressure is on the English side, on Manchester City. And I feel like Atletico Madrid can really exploit that. If they can leave this matchup, I think 0-0 or even losing 1-0, I think Simeone might look at that as somewhat of a victory. Now you go back to Spain and you can do some damage there. So I really like Atleti here. I don't know if they win the game. Plus 800 is nice. I think it's worth a touch of a sprinkle. On the Manchester City side, they cruised past Burnley this weekend 2-0. It didn't really look like Burnley really in the game at any point. They could have been, up 3 or 4. So Man City, they have the ability to do that and just put away teams very easily. But when you're looking at Atletico Madrid, very different outfit compared to Burnley. 7 games unbeaten, just 2 losses at home. In terms of betting, Sarah, I think you can look at it the same way we did with the Liverpool Benfica game, maybe Manchester City plus the under 3.5 at even money. But I really like Atletico here, and I like them plus 1.5, minus 115.
Yeah, I stayed away from this one. Absolutely not. I have no idea what's going to happen. Oh, God.
You're fired.
God. I was trying to like turn it off on my phone.
Was that Diego Simeone calling you?
Yeah, how'd you know? Okay, where are we starting?
Atleti plus 1.5 is what I like, minus 115.
Yeah, no, I'm staying away from this completely. I think, yeah, like you said, the pressure's on Manchester City, but I there's something about Atleti right now. They're so good, and they're I don't know. I wouldn't bet against them, so I'm not taking a winner at all in this game.
And one thing that we do know, and I know he doesn't like to hear it because he commented on it, Pep Guardiola mentioned how our journalists and fans always mention how Pep Guardiola overthinks these things in the Champions League. He overthought the final against Chelsea, ended up losing. And he was kind of asked about that. And he said, I love to overthink and create stupid tactics. Tonight, I take inspiration. There will be incredible tactics tomorrow. We'll play with 12 players. So it's obviously getting to him. I wonder if this is something in the back of his mind where he's like, man, maybe I do overthink these games. Because if I go back to the Champions League final against Chelsea, I think he ended up playing with 1 holding midfielder instead of 2. And that really, no, he played with 2 holding midfielders. And he had Rodri and Fernandinho. And that limited a lot of creativity for Manchester City, and Chelsea took advantage of that. And against Atletico Madrid, you can't really overthink things. I think you know exactly what they're going to do. You just have to kind of game plan around that, which can tend to, maybe have a manager overthink how to break them down. So I'm kind of going on and on here, but when it comes to Pep in the Champions League, for some reason, it just doesn't always work out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially though, because these two coaches have played against each other for so long, right? Like there is a history there too. So I wonder if
Yeah.
that's going to come into play because they do know each other very well. And so, but it's funny. Sorry, I say that because I'm obviously referencing Barca and Atleti, but Manchester City and Atletico Madrid have never played against each other.
Yeah, strange.
This is exciting football. I'm
Yeah.
honestly, I'm so excited for this. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen. I think we're going to see goals. I think a safe bet would be both teams to score here. But I
Oh,
think, yeah, that was the only one that I was like, okay, this seems safe. But like you said, if it's a little sprinkle on Atleti, like it's not bad, you know.
no,
Um,
not at all.
yeah, so I don't know. I think it'll be a really exciting game. And like we talked about, City's upcoming schedule is so tough. They're probably gonna like start this, next couple games with a win, with a comfortable win, because they have so much ahead of them too. So much pressure on both teams. Atletico is now in third place behind Barcelona. So both teams are going crazy in their league. So yeah, there's so much to play for here, and I'm so excited to see two new teams that haven't faced each other.
I've also thrown a little bit on Atletico to qualify plus 333. I really believe in them. I could be completely wrong. This could be a new Man City who just absolutely demolished them. I don't see it happening. It's going to be difficult, but you like both teams to score here. You can get that at minus 120. Your official pick for the Liverpool Benfica before we end the show?
Take Liverpool.
Take Liverpool, laying the minus 250. I'm going to stay away from that game, but I will say if I'm going to pick one team to win, it'd probably be Liverpool, and I would add the under 3.5 there at plus 130 for the Manchester City Atleti game. Give me Atleti plus 1.5 at minus 115. If you wait long enough and maybe in game, that number is probably going to be closer to even money, maybe plus 105, plus 110. So if you want a bit more money on that, wait it out. But these should be two fantastic games, Sarah. I'm happy the Champions League is back, and me and you will be back tomorrow to talk some more Champions League. Chelsea, Real Madrid. What a game that is. For Sara Poraria, follow her at Sara Poraria on Twitter. You can follow me at the Real Bert V. And please head over to parlay.tv for more parlay content. Take care.